crackle, the crispy sound. You gotta have crackle or the clock's not wound. Crackle, crackle, makes the world go round. The insist that pops the sound. The best is missing as pops around. Pop makes the world go round. Pop makes the world go round. Pop makes the world go round.
And now, introducing your host with the most, Mr. Greg. Along with Rick Brusuelas and Dennis Michelson. Now, let's get to the show.
Welcome to Snap, Crackle, and Pop, the show where we give you 5 sleepers and 5 busts each week, plus the news that matters. Now, I've got to admit, last week was not our best effort. We hit on 3, but missed on 7, and we usually shoot for at least 6 right each week. So sorry for that, our bad. But for the year, we're still doing pretty good. We're at 53% with a combined 87 and 76. So that's not terrible. And our news segment is always right on spot. I mean, because, you know, our guy Snap is outstanding. But before I turn it over to him, I got to say, Merry Christmas, everybody. Have a very Merry Christmas. And here is Mr. Rick Brusuelas. Snap.
Hi, everyone. And again, congratulations. If you're still watching the show, that probably means you're in the championship game of your league. And so let's see if we can help you win those trophies. Before we get into the injury part of the news, there are 2 non-injury related news. First of all, Brady Cook, the New York Jet quarterback, has been announced that he will start Week 17 against the Patriots. He hasn't looked good, to be honest, in his 2 starts, but at least they're going to continue on with the young player.
Hey, Rick, before you go further, I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
I've been seeing a lot of ads, and it seems like the NFL is just trying to sell food. I mean, Baker, Cook. What's up, buddy?
Okay, well, the other non-injury bit of the news is about a certain wide receiver from Pittsburgh, DK Metcalf, the Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver. He was suspended for the rest of the regular season, 2 games, for an altercation with the fan in the stands. The fan was ejected from the game, and apparently the fan and the player both had history with each other, with Metcalf reporting the fan to NFL security in 2024 when Metcalf was a member of the Seahawks. So the impact, well, it looks like Cal Austin might also be hurt. So looks like, in fact, who is the wide receiver? Former Michigan?
Roman Wilson. Hey, actually, he's done pretty well when he's been on the field. His numbers are good for the limited opportunities he's had.
Yeah.
And I know that you want him to do extremely well because you love Michigan. Well, at least you love Aaron Rodgers because he's your quarterback in your championship.
In one of my finals, yeah. So hopefully Roman Wilson is the next coming. But the other wide receivers there, MVS, Scotty Miller, Adam Thielen, they'll also get work. But if at this point in the season, if you're starting any of those guys, you probably didn't make your finals. So injury news, and since we also mentioned the New York Jets, I'll mention that Justin Fields was placed on IR, so he is out for the rest of the season. Josh Allen had a foot injury. He had x-rays at the halftime of the game last week, didn't miss any playing time, and is expected to play, but as always, keep an eye on those injury reports through the week. Jordan Love, the Green Bay Packers quarterback, suffered a concussion in his game against the Chicago Bears. His backup, Malik Willis, also suffered an injury, shoulder injury. If neither Love or Willis are able to play, the Packers can elevate Clayton Tune, former Arizona Cardinal quarterback from the practice squad. But it's probable that they'll be able to start Malik Willis. So he's been getting a lot of people looking at him as a free agent signing. Lamar Jackson, the Baltimore Ravens quarterback, left his game against the Patriots with a back injury. I think it was described as contusion or bruise. Tyler Huntley took over, was 9 for 10 for 65. Huntley actually has looked pretty decent in those games where he's filled in for Jackson in the past. And if you need quarterback help in the finals, he would be someone you might look at. J.J. McCarthy, another ex-Michigan player and Minnesota Vikings quarterback. He injured his right hand, and apparently the x-rays showed that it's a hairline fracture, so he will not be playing. And in fact, they've already announced rookie and fan favorite Max Brosmer. And he is not from Michigan. He's from Minnesota. He was 7 for 9 for 52 yards. McCarthy has missed all sorts of time this season with concussion, with the fracture, and with the sprained ankle. He missed all of last year with torn meniscus. So he has really had struggles with injuries over this season. Gardner Minshew, the Kansas City Chief quarterback who replaced Pat Mahomes, he had a non-displaced tibial plateau fracture, and he's the second Kansas City quarterback to go down with a knee injury in 2 weeks. The Kansas City starter is now Chris Olajuwon. 11 but he was 11 for 16 for 111 yards. They've also elevated Shane Buechley from the practice squad to the active roster.
Actually, they stole him from another team's practice squad.
Oh, Marcus Mariota, Washington Commanders quarterback, suffered a right hand injury. His status for Thursday's game against Dallas is uncertain. It looks like Josh Johnson will be the likely starter. They also have Sam Hartman, who is a rookie quarterback from Notre Dame, I believe, and recently signed Jeff Driscoll as backups. And then the biggest injury from the other positions, Quinshon Judkins, Cleveland Browns running back, suffered a dislocated ankle and a fractured fibula. He'll go undergo surgery this week. He's out, of course, for the season. Had an awesome season with 827 yards and 7 touchdowns. Also was able to catch a lot of passes. Since fellow rookie Dylan Sampson is also likely to be out, the backups are Travion Williams and Raheem Sanders. And I'll go ahead and leave it there. We're going to be back in less than 20 minutes, and I'll give a much larger injury report for the Thursday Checkdown show that's coming up just following this one. And so handing it back over to Greg.
Well, I'm going to make a prediction for my first player that I know Mr. Brusuelas is going to love. Can you lean up and show them your shirt, please? All right, guys. That's Scott Fishbowl, but it's got the colors of the Houston Texans on it, and he is a huge Texans fan. I'm saying that QB 11, Justin Herbert, despite showing that he's completely back, he's facing the Texans, and Texans have only given up one performance this year that's top 12, and that was to Jacoby Brissett. So I'm saying that Herbert's going to suffer this week against the Texans. I think they're going to shut him down this week. We'll see how that all works out, but I'm hoping I get it right this time. Second time's a charm, maybe. At running back, I'm going with Jaylen Warren at Cleveland. Now, I got to tell you, early in the year, the Browns were the defense was impenetrable. I mean, they were just good all across the board. But as of late, they've shown some cracks in the foundation. Actually, I think the entire defense has become invisible. Last week, James Cook torched them for 117 rushing yards and 2 TDs. The week before, it was DeAndre Swift with 98 yards and 2 TDs. And the week before that, Tony Pollard had over 160 yards and 2 TDs. So about now, how's it possible that I'm predicting them to stop anybody? Well, I've had some second thoughts, to be honest, but I think we're going to see them show some semblance of pride and try to keep their jobs, because if they keep playing the way they are, giving up 2 touchdowns and 100+ yards, there's going to be a lot of people who aren't going to be in the NFL next year. So I also think they've got a sense of pride they've got to go. Now, I'm not saying Pittsburgh running backs won't have a good game. I think Kenneth Gainwell is going to have an excellent game against the Browns. I think he's the type of back that can have a good game against anybody. And although Jaylen Warren is coming off a great game, I just don't think he's going to do it this week. So this one is a pure gut feel, guys. So you might not want to go with it, but it's my pick for running back. Wide receiver, I asked folks this last week. Is anyone still starting Ibuka? I mean, seriously. After all, he is still a wide receiver too, okay? He's, I think, 18 right now in the rankings? But that's because he had 5 touchdowns in the first 5 games of his career, all right? Since week 6, he scored just once in week 10. And I think he finished as the wide receiver 3 in week 10. But other than that one game, he hasn't finished in the top 24 one time. Just that week 10 game. So at this point, I don't care who he's playing. You can't trust him, especially not with the championship on the line. So this week he travels downstate to face the Dolphins. And while the Dolphins have given up points to wide receivers, DK Metcalf had 3 catches for 55 yards and a touchdown. T. Higgins, 3 for 53 and a touchdown. Jamar Chase, 9 for 109, no touchdown. I don't see Ibuka in the same category as those 3 receivers. So this week, get him out of your lineups if you're still starting him. I don't think you should be. At tight end, I'm going with the guy who is the number 3 tight end. All right. Patty Mahomes is gone. Gardner Minshew is gone. Okay. Who the hell is Chris Olakakun? I mean, and ditto for Shane Buechele. All right. How can you trust him? How can you trust Chris to get Kelsey the ball? Now, I do expect him to be better this week after getting a full week of the QB1 reps in practice. But, I mean, he targeted Kelsey enough last week. But 1 catch for 6 yards, can you trust that? I've actually heard rumors. Now, folks, I know don't take this too seriously, but we did see it in Indianapolis. I've heard rumors that there's a call out from the front office at KC to bring back Lenny Dawson. And if they can't get him, they have a plan B. I don't know if you guys remember it, but Al Bundy was a great player. Okay. So it could be Al Bundy. I can't trust any of them throwing the ball to Kelsey this week. Now, my bonus pick is a running back. It's entirely based on defense. All right. You guys know I don't like DeAndre Swift. Okay. I've made that clear. And it's not because I don't think he's talented. I think he's ultra talented. I think he's soft is what it is. And I look at his last 3 games and he absolutely did torch. I can't remember who in one of them. I got it down here somewhere. But he did have a really good game. But against the 2 games in between that one, he had the Packers. And the Packers held him to 70 yards in one game and 82 yards in a game without a touchdown. So I just don't know if you can trust him against the 49ers defense. I'm expecting about 8. I think he's got a good floor. I think he'll get you about 10 points, but that's not good enough to get into the top 24 running backs most weeks. So that's what I expect, is about 90 yards and no score. And he's not used in the passing game hardly at all. So 10 points is what I'm expecting from him. But now it's time for my good friend Pops. Who are the sleepers this week, Dennis?
Thank you very much, Greg. And by the way, that Kansas City quarterback's name is Aluda. Gonna give you a better draft pick. That's who that is. At quarterback this week, I'm going to go with a guy that has been really impressing me with my MVP index. Overall, the whole season, he hasn't had a great season, but in his best 6 games, which I like to use this time of the year to kind of forecast the upside of players, Bryce Young has put together some nice games. He's getting very elusive and finding a way to avoid the pass rush. And the professor, he's really good at getting those defensive matchups just right. And the trend is that that's an easier matchup against Seattle now than it was earlier in the season. So I like Bryce Young this week at quarterback, getting a little fancy, but hey, just about everybody is hurt, it seems like, at the quarterback position. So I'm going to go with the guy who is still standing. Speaking of still standing, my running back going up against a tough defense, but sometimes you just got to play the volume, and you got to play the chances of who's going to get a goal line carry if there are goal line carries. And Houston has been playing really, really strong football. So I don't look for the LA Chargers to want to let this game be a long game, if you know what I mean. So they're going to want to work the clock. And the only healthy, good running back they got left is Omarion Hampton. So I look for about 23 to maybe 26 touches of the ball in a very, very tough game against the Houston Texans. So Omarion Hampton, despite going up against a good defense, but hey, Houston's defense is going to shut the quarterbacks down, just like Greg said. And that means they're going to have to lean into that running game this week. At wide receiver, I was going to go with Justin Jefferson this week until it was going to be Max Prosper at quarterback. Had to switch him out and go with a guy that has got the hot hand, at least in the fourth quarter and overtime last week. Boy, oh boy, you would have ended up with a miserable game out of DJ Moore if the Bears had not extended that game into overtime. But the big catch, the hot hand, and the only healthy wide receiver right now among the main guys for the Bears is DJ Moore. In San Francisco, we always think of this team as a great defense. To opposing wide receivers, they're giving up 33 fantasy points per game, PPR. That is not very good. That is not the typical San Francisco offense, and that's why I'm leaning in to DJ Moore. And while I'm with the Bears, my new favorite team for the rest of the year, hey, my wife is a Bears fan, and so is my son-in-law. So I've adopted the Bears, with the Chiefs being out of the playoffs for the first time since I had a little bit of hair on top. So at tight end, I'm going with the Bears. I'm going with Colston Loveland. San Francisco giving up 14.8 points per game to opposing tight ends, and I think that will be to Loveland, especially with Adunze and Burden still questionable at this late of a date. My bonus player, I was so tempted to go with Woody Marks from Houston and have kind of bookends at the running back position, but there's a layup drill of a running back available to pick as my bonus pick. So I'm going with a guy from good old Purdue. Okay, so he only played at Purdue for 1 year, but Tyrone Tracy takes on the Las Vegas Raiders. Can we really call them the Raiders anymore? When I think of Raiders, I think of tough guys that take the ball away. And the Raiders have not been those tough guys. So giving up 23.8 points per game to opposing running backs. Tracy's going to get the nod. He's going to get the volume. He's going to get a touchdown. And he's going to be my bonus pick of the week. Back to you, Greg.
Well, thank you. I love the fact that you picked a Michigan guy at tight end. Gotta say. Anyway, that's it. We want everyone to have a very Merry Christmas. And remember, we'll be back. It is about an hour, right, Rick?
No, about 5-10 minutes.
Oh, we'll be back in 5 or 10 minutes. Talk to you later.